want to start with you, Kayode. Why do you think Nigerian students like to go abroad to study?
Well, first, accessibility is a factor. There was a figure in Nigeria that every year we have almost 1 million university-ready applicants every year. Now, you cannot take the numbers away from Nigeria. This is the most populous black nation in the world, the largest African country by population, over 200 million as at current population count. And you can also agree with me about the figures of the university-ready, the youthful population. And basically, the age range of those who are ready for university are between the age of 16 and 21 years. And as a matter of fact, last year alone, we had about 900,000 that wrote the university matriculation exam. Now, even if all the 900,000 passed, we have backlogs from the previous year. That makes it over 1 million university-ready applicants every year. Now, the capacity of the universities in Nigeria, Polytechnic put together, cannot accommodate up to 600,000. Now, Nigeria being a society of class, we have different societal strata based on their economic capacity. Some people can afford the UK, some people can afford Australia, Europe, or America, and some cannot afford than West African neighbors. That's why you have the influx of Nigerian students across the sub-region, from Cameroon to Niger Republic, to Benin Republic, to Togo and Ghana especially. I was the former president of NANS Ghana, and I can tell you that when I was president of the Nigerian students in Ghana, we had over 50,000 Nigerian students spread across 55 universities, colleges, and institutes across Ghana. So, you can't take that away from Nigeria. So basically, number one reason Nigerians are going outside of Nigeria is access to university education in terms of the ready, willing, and ableness of the institution to take them on.
Yeah.
Yes,
thank you very much. And before you go further, right?
Yeah.
Because I see that you have a lot of things to say.
Yeah.
Ada, I want to talk a little bit about the process. Like, have you ever sat for JAMB before?
Oh, yes, I have. I did.
Okay.
Twice? Yes, I did.
Why twice?
The first time I didn't get in. And the second time, while I took it was, okay, I got in, but into the Federal Polytechnic. Okay. So me taking the second time was because I wanted to switch back into a federal university. Like, okay, if I was going to get it, I will. But the problem was I think I was already so comfortable with my Federal Polytechnic that I didn't pursue that second JAMB that I got.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And what do you think about JAMB in general?
JAMB is stressful. To me, JAMB is a very stressful process because I still don't understand why they get to write WAEC, and after the writing WAEC, you go and write JAMB. And after JAMB, you write UTME, and the whole process. Bro, I just want to go into school. Why do I have to go and start convincing the whole board?
And Chris, like, what was your situation back then in Nigeria before you moved to Ghana?
I did write JAMB during my days. But to be honest, the scores I can't review it here is nothing to write home about. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a couple of folks. Mm-hmm. I was discouraged to actually do that because I have a couple of folks in the neighborhood. They've been writing down for like 3 years, some 5 years. And the painful part of this is when you fail, you still have to repeat it again. Mm-hmm. So I switched to a different learning system. Okay. But when I came to Ghana to study, it was very simple. There was nothing like JAMB. Once your WAEC is complete, you are good to go. So it made it very easy for me to move on with my educational system. So for me personally, when it comes to JAMB, it's not something I like talking about because it really don't have anything good to offer.
Why is it so easy to get admitted in Ghana than Nigeria?
In Ghana, once you have your WASI, that's the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, and you passed, you meet the credit scores as a minimum 6 credit scores in at least 2 sittings. You have arrays of options to choose from, both the government institutions or private institutions. You can choose from. Of course, the government institutions are very, very competitive because of the subsidy they give to education for Ghanaians. So therefore, it is highly, highly competitive. You must have performed creditably well in your WASI before you can be considered for admission. And still, despite the performance, even if you don't perform well, you still be considered for giving the different course options, to choose from. However, the admission process in Ghana is direct, simpler, and less cumbersome like that of Nigeria. And
do you think Nigeria is not getting it right?
I've never been a supporter of JAMB. I've been on a different platform in Nigeria early this year where I talk about the fact that what is the need for JAMB? outside of the economic, the money they recoup from the application forms, which to me is a wrong channel. We are all advocating talking about championing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, talking about access, affordability of education. We should subsidize education, not to tax them more, parents more. I mean, in order to improve their standard of living and all that. So to me, I don't really support I don't see the essence of JAMB. Once you pass your WASI, your destiny should be in your hand. The universities should be allowed to conduct their own independent admission process. Based on your capacity and interview, you get admitted.
And in your own opinion, do you think JAMB is educationally motivated, financially initiated, or politically imposed?
On the two first parts you have mentioned, the financial economic perspective and as well as the academic perspective. Now, it is the thought or the thinking of the policymakers that even when you are past WAEC, you should now be subjected to another special, entrance examination. Some have said, I've said over times that it is because of the level of corruption in SSC that makes JAMB more credible. But I disagree. I disagree because we've had several instances where people have struggled with JAMB, they travel abroad and have done fantastically well. I've read folks who failed JAMB and wrote the American SAT and got scholarship into tens of Ivy League universities in America, which are the top universities in the world, highly ranked than all, on our continent. In Ghana here, I've seen, during my time as president of NANS Ghana, that a Nigerian lady graduated, she won 11 awards in the University of Cape Coast in medical school. You can imagine, in medical school. And one of my encounters with her, she had struggled in Nigeria, entering university. And upon coming to Ghana, she came to the best university in Ghana. University of Cape Coast is the number 1 ranked university in West Africa, number 5 on the African continent, highly ranked by ATHE more than every Nigerian university put together. Now, this is a lady, a Nigerian, who had struggled with this so-called entrance examination, came into Ghana and performed credibly well that she won 11 out of 19 awards in convocation. So to me, that would not have been a yardstick to determine the capacity of a Nigerian youth. And
if I may throw this question to the floor, do you guys think the Nigerian Ministry of Education should scrap out JAMB?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, basically, I think they should take it out. They should take it out, but there's no need to massage it. Massage it in the sense that, they should review how they do their scoring, how they do their selection, even the questions and all that. But I think they should remove it. Yeah, if they take it out, just like what we have here, from secondary school straight, it doesn't even end in JAMB, When you finish writing JAMB, you also have another one, post-UME. When you're done writing that one, you're also going to write your departmental. When you're done writing that one, there was another one they even introduced in the school. So each of these examinations, entrance examinations, any of them you pass, you come back another year. So you can actually be home for as long as. And it's not everybody that have actually the capital to leave Nigeria to go study elsewhere.
I knew a lot of people who spent years trying to get into the same system.
And can you share their experience?
It was depressing for them. A whole lot of them were sad. Especially the fact that I think from the day they even wrote that JAMB, there was a lot of issues. You could hear a lot of them complaining that while they're writing, their computer went off when they started the new CVT, whatever it is. Like, I was writing my exam and my this thing just went off for a couple of minutes, and by the time I came back, I had to start afresh. And there was so from the moment they wrote the exam, they're already coming out with a very sad face and complaints and everything, which has led into depression. A lot of people haven't lost hope. I think I mentioned that I know someone who wrote JAMB 7 times. In Nigeria. Now, at some point, I was like, brother, are you sure we'll go with this school? Why not let's go and do business? Because why is it 7 times? What is happening? It's not like he's not smart. He's very smart. He's very smart. But one thing or the other, you always maybe 170 something, 180. Like, even my brother, my other brother, the day he wrote the JAMB, he came back, he was so excited. Like, yes, so this is the estimate I have for my score. But when the score came out, he literally locked himself up for days. And my brother is one of the smartest persons I've met, when I mean academically, yeah? So seeing that score and knowing my brother and say, hey, what is going on here? So imagine having to write this over and
over again.
and over again. You see your mates enter school, the ones that are lucky enough to enter school, the ones that have the money to go to private universities, they are going far, and you're looking like as if your life is stagnated. It's depressing.
Do you think people are just wasting their money, and the JAMB organizers, so to say, are just extorting people?
Yes, of course. I can call it extortion, because if you look at the antecedent of JAMB over the years, in fact, it has been one of the most corrupt agencies in Nigeria, except the last administration under this professor from Kwara State, who is currently in charge of JAMB. This is the only first time in our history that JAMB is already remitting money to the federal government. Before now, they are always fund inadequacy.
And if I may ask you, what process were they using before?
Before, process as in, how do you mean?
Like, how do they remit the money?
Yeah, normally as a federal government parastatal, you remit money back to federal government accounts based on, after you remove your expenditures of the year, you have to remit the remaining balance of your account back to federal government. They call it the treasury account. However, JAMB has never remitted money.
How did you know about this?
Of course, it's in the public. It is a public
Domain.
domain.
Okay.
The current executive, of JAMB said it that now they are almost $1 billion naira. They have to return to federal government. But to me, yes, it's good for the internal generation, internal revenue generation of the federal government. However, the source of that money, I disagree with. We should simplify admission process. We should make university affordable for our people. One of the key things that UN have championed is accessibility and affordability of tertiary education. And we cannot continue to extort or to drain these people's fund all in the name of university admission when they've already passed the. In fact, in Nigeria, they even do more than one senior school certificate exam. We have the West African one, and we have the National Examination Council called NECO. So you might have written WASI, you wrote NECO, then you go for JAMB.
During my time, we wrote GC.
It's fair to meet up and write GC. Then you proceed to write JAMB. After JAMB, even if you pass JAMB, university will still subject to their internal entrance interview and all that. This is cumbersome. Some people can actually lose interest at this point.
I really want to touch on the issue of the way forward when it comes to JAMB. It's not like there is nothing good about it, just like we're saying, but the only thing that can be good about it is that it can still be the JAMB they are, Joint Admission Matriculation Board, right? They can be enhancing the system of selecting which students would go to which school or which course as regards to the performance. Just like, is it common entrance? Is it common entrance?
Primary 6, yeah.
Primary exam.
Yeah, to go into secondary school.
Common entrance.
Yes. They can, if you don't score, I think during my time I had 16, but to go to a particular school, Emmanuel College at then, you need to have like either 17, 18, thereabout, but I had 16, right? I still went anywhere, but I had 16. So if JAMB can be doing something similar, instead of taking people off for the whole year, you have to come back again. They can suggest schools for you. Common Entrance suggested a mixed school for me to go to, the next school.
And I can see that everybody is just condemning JAMB.
I really wish.
So do you guys think there's also positive impact?
Any advantage outside of the revenue generation for federal government? to me, over time, I have not seen any benefit of JAMB. It's more frustration for Nigerian youth than any benefit outside of revenue generation. And as I said earlier on that, even the revenue generation has not really been positive over the years, except under the current professor, I've forgotten his name now, the current executive of JAMB. This is the first time they're actually making profit. All the time, they are always getting more money from federal government. This has only been the first time they are remitting money back to federal government.
But I feel like it's a way of the federal system denying most Nigerians access to university education.
Yeah, like you rightly said, that the Nigerian population is very high and they are using that method to just reduce the number of people that get admitted into the university every year.
That's what I think. It's the insecurity system in Nigeria that actually pushed so many people out of Nigeria.
No, I disagree with that. Haven't you heard about people who sold their properties just for their kids to go to the university outside Nigeria?
If it is UK, a different thing. This is Ghana.
Yes, but it's not because of JAMB.
No, we're not talking about Ghana alone. We're talking about.
I wouldn't give that to JAMB. Like, I wouldn't put that pen to JAMB. Yes, JAMB might have instigated so many people to leave, but on average,
it's not the sole reason.
It's not. You're not. Everybody comes to Ghana.
I actually know a parent that sends kids to Ghana because of cultism.
Exactly.
The experience. I'm from Ondo State, maternally from Ekiti State. And I can tell you that the level of cultism in that is very, very terrible. Very, very. I have to bring even my cousin to Ghana. I sort of very bad. She was nearly raped. I mean, permit me to use this. Unfortunately, out of a cultist attack in their hostel. And I've seen parents as well who had to take their wards away from that environment to come and pay higher money outside because they want them to study in an enabling environment, secure environment for their wards. As a matter of
so now let's take this now. Imagine if we have secure environment, we have stable lights.
Yeah.
Will you guys still sit down to write JAMB?
Well, you keep going off.
I get where you're going to, but it will be unfair for us to sit here and give all this blame to JAMB.
No, it's just
it's a question like the government provide enable environment for us.
Yeah.
Will you still write the JAMB?
Well, JAMB is a subject matter.
JAMB has to go.
Oh, and I think that's here. We cannot be
for
making
the JAMB process. Yes, it's cumbersome. Yes, we don't like it and all that, but we shouldn't mix it together. There are different factors that are not conjoined together. JAMB factor is about access.
Yeah, but you know, now we are talking about education system in general.
Yes, see, there are different context. Now, JAMB factor is strictly about accessing university education. Now, if you have said, I just stood up on my cousin I brought to Ghana. She passed JAMB. She got admitted. She was on the third year. But I had to pull her out because of security reasons. Because her life was at stake for their hostel being attacked by some gangs. Gangsterism on campuses. Can you compare the level of gangsterism on campuses to Ghana? Absolutely not. Okay. I've been a student leader in this university, in this country, and I've gone through over 40 universities back and forth. And I can tell you that the level of gangsterism on our campuses in Nigeria cannot be compared to that of Ghana. Yes, we have truancy, a little bit of truancy here and there in universities in Ghana, but you cannot compare it to the level where your life could be at risk. It cannot happen in this country. And I can tell you that. So therefore, 100%. Some of these factors are serious factors that people, I had no parent that brought their watch to the University of Ghana and told me that the reason is, yes, I cannot afford any university in Nigeria. In fact, the least amount that you can pay in the University of Ghana as in Nigeria will be like $4,000 a year. $4,000 now is over 4-5 million naira in Nigeria. How many university charges as high as that? So anybody that can send their award to University of Ghana can afford any university, including after America and Yola.
So they should stay back in Nigeria?
Everybody reserves the right to take their decisions based on their own realities. I took a decision for my cousin based on the realities of security. Yes, JAMB was not the reason. She passed JAMB. She got admitted. She's on the program. But we pulled her out because of the risk of life. Safety was critical to our decision. Some parents decided because of even sanity of the mind. Where you have to, I drove through Ekiti State recently. I passed through a polytechnic, total darkness. Total darkness. I told my brother, who is also living in Ghana, I told him that, can you see this? I told him this is a polytechnic. He couldn't believe it. I said, yes, this is a very major polytechnic, but we could not see a trace of, it's like a masquerade den. No single trace of light. Now, how can somebody who studied there compete with somebody from the University of Ghana who has the luxury? Look at the library over there. The library even operates 24 hours. I have friends who went to law school who go to library 11 p.m. in the night. Can people go to library to go and study in Federal Polytechnic at Ekiti 11 p.m.? So these are people who are going to compete on the international scale. The same people you are that school there, how will they compete with those who come out from the other side? So a lot of reasons. We cannot put a reason on JAMB. JAMB only deal with accessibility.
I think we all agree that private schools in Nigeria are safe.
Okay, let me give you an example. One of the best private schools we have in Nigeria is in Ado-Ekiti.
Yes.
Abuad.
Yeah.
But trust me, the environment is not safe. I can't drive there at night.
Okay, well,
And parents, let me also tell you
Okay.
how parents are so agitated sending their kids to Ado-Ekiti sometimes. There's no airport. You have to go by land. I have seen kids who arrived in escorts.
yes.
Do you need that in Ghana?
No.
Not at all.
Genuinely.
I traveled at night. We drove to Takwa from Accra. Not a single, we were not bothered
True.
at all. Can you do that sort of trip
Yeah.
in Nigeria? So even though, yes, we have a ward who is in Abuad in Ado-Ekiti, my maternal home state,
yeah.
I can't travel at the way I've gone to Takwa. Takwa is 5 hours away. Now, so when you look at the security situation, some problems are natural.
Okay.
The issue of JAMB is access.
Yeah.
Now, when you even get the access, you look at the enabling environment in the university. What about the erratic power supply? What about the conducive environment? Even when we even talk about the issue of the lecturer to student ratio, they don't care about that in Nigeria. In Ghana, they care.
Yes.
So in Ghana, I was telling somebody that in Ghana, student rights are protected. I'm a student leader. And I can tell you that student rights are more protected in Ghana than Nigeria.
Sure.
We've had situations whereby people pay calls, they say some lecturer pay you here in Ghana, unless you don't do your right, you can actually request for remarking of papers. I've done it before.
And you cannot do that in Nigeria?
You can't pay for it.
It's there, but the
process to get it done.
Yeah, you just get that.
You will spend
And for you, Ada, you finished your polytechnic
Yes.
in Nigeria,
Yeah, I
right?
did
What
have
was your
it.
experience?
I didn't have.
Do you have stable light? Do you have security?
No, we didn't have any stable light. As for
Can
that
you
one.
share your experience? Like, paint a picture for us.
See, okay, I'm going to compare Nigeria and Ghana at this instance. If I want to read, even if it's 3 a.m., I can comfortably own my lights in Ghana here and I read. But once it passed 6 o'clock in Nigeria, any other thing you want to do with your reading is probably you're going to be looking at your phone and be scrolling through and
Corner of
doing
the
what you
room.
and it's very difficult even reading in heat in a very hot weather. Yes, they will come and tell you that our
the
parents did it.
noise from generator.
They'll tell you our parents did it, this, that, but we are revolving. This is
this
it's
is
gonna be
not
complete. Really. No, like okay, even here in Ghana, when I told someone in Nigeria that my hostel has generator like Lista,
standby.
first they barely take lights, but there's already a standby option
Emergency.
that in case anyhow it happens, we open, we turn on the generator, and best believe that even that generator doesn't even run for a long time. There was a time there was light for a very long time. That when they took the light, I'm like, so generator did this Ghana. What's happening here? No, I'm used to that light being there. If I'm walking, I know I'm putting my feet because the light is there. But there in Nigeria, there's even a time you can't even walk in Federal Polytechnic.
And Chris, if I may put this question to you, if this trend continue like this, what do you think will happen to the Nigerian education system?
If it continues, it's going to really bring our educational system down. But I know it's not going to continue because there is room for improvement.
And what do you think,
Ari?
improving?
Of course, I agree with them. I mean, there is always room for improvement. And I believe the current government has also highlighted some of the issues we're complaining about, even though they've not started addressing them. But one of the things the current president said he was going to do is to revolutionize university education in Nigeria. Even though he started on the wrong note on the issue of the loan, I think the house should be put in order first.
So you are against the loan, right?
I'm not against the loan. I'm against the timing of it. First, before introducing loan, there are preliminary steps that should have been taken. We need to sanitize the university system.
Okay.
We need to sanitize even the university admission system. We need to sanitize the management of university in Nigeria. The way they don't see the interview, the selection process they use in Ghana. You even demonstrate your capacity to mobilize funds before you get selected there. They nominate several people and you go through processes. In Nigeria, they are not. It's like a nomination. And could be political consideration, sometimes ethnic.
So what about the education system in general now? Is it political motivated?
Education generally, of course, we need strong political will to find solutions to all these problems because they are intertwined. So the president has demonstrated that he has the political will. We are waiting for execution of them. So I agree that it won't continue forever. So we believe that somebody will come and say, no, things are not going right. They all travel all around the world. Their kids school, they school all around the world. They see how things are done. They themselves have done courses all around. The current president said the school in America and all that. So he should be able to,
implement
bring
some of
good
the
things to our people too. Nigerians deserve better.
Okay. And I would like to ask everybody this question, but I will start with you.
Okay.
If you are given the position to be the Minister for Education in Nigeria today, what will you do?
I would declare an emergency first. I would declare emergency in the Nigerian education system, and I will convene a national conference on the way forward to bring the stakeholders together and announce my proposals to, dissolve the university management first and change the process. Of course, some of these, we're in a democratic era. Some decision you want to take is subjected to parliament approval, unfortunately. I use the word unfortunately because, in the military, during the military era, you don't need anybody's approval. You don't need to convene a conference. You create a decree and you change status quo. But because we're in a democratic era, sometimes when you want to make a change in a democratic era, you must fight for legitimacy, the acceptability of your opinion by the general public. But sometimes in our society, some of the steps you want to take, for instance, I disagree or I do not agree with the cost of university education in public institutions in Nigeria. It's too cheap. You cannot get quality education with the amount of money they pay universities in Nigeria.
But do you think people can afford that?
That is why they should increase minimum wage as well. They're all intertwined. They should increase minimum wage. Minimum wage in Ghana is 560 Ghana cedis. That's about 60,000 naira. Minimum wage in Nigeria today is 33,000. So we must double the minimum wage and then improve the buying power of our people. But as far as university is concerned, you cannot go to a university and be paying 150,000 naira. You cannot get quality education. You cannot eat or cake and have it. You cannot get quality education while paying too cheaply. Because how can you? We are saying that we want universities to be, independent of government. But they cannot be independent if they are charging this amount of money.
And Ada, if you are given the opportunity to lead the Ministry of Education, what will you do?
Okay, definitely JAMB is going. JAMB will have to leave, but we have to sit and talk about the way JAMB will leave, because we mentioned the fact that these things bring economical revenues into the country. So we have to make sure that if we are taking out JAMB, there's something that will be bringing that money into the country. Okay, and he said something about increasing the school fees. Yes, as much he has a very, very valid point, because I feel like if schools are being able to pay their lecturers, this strike thing they're always talking about, ASU did not do this, would be really, really, really low. It would be really low. It can't. Sometimes I understand the lecturers' frustrations. They come with their very funny looking cars that they probably not be able to fuel, or the ones that you have to push on the road to get there, and you don't expect them to be happy teaching you. But I'll be very upset coming to the class to come and...
But do you think if you increase the fees, everybody will be able to avoid it? Most especially people that are not public workers.
Not everybody will be. See, at the end of the day, we are going to go with the majority and looking at the long-term goal and the long-term solution for this. Okay, these lecturers cannot be complaining day in, day out about fees, about this, and governments, they are doing their own. They are trying their own best. But at the end of the day, their best is not enough, because these problems are still there. People might not be able to afford it. People also might be able to afford it. Like he said, they should increase minimum wage. Once they do, I think we can work with that. And okay, I think I need to add something. This whole, I think one insensitive thing I've always heard is when they tell you you've not passed that, they're like, go and learn a skill. Skills are very important too. Very, 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 very important. But haba, that I want to go to school. There's a reason I want to go to school. As a matter of fact, you are still also be learning your skill while at school.
I think I'll come to that right now, because that will be the next question I'm going to ask. But before then, Chris, if you are given the opportunity to lead the Nigerian Ministry of Education, what will you do?
Well, I will do exactly the opposite of what both of them have been saying, because that is not really the solution.
Okay.
Yeah, there are countries that have given free education to their students, and such countries are existing.
Right.
Looking at Nigeria, I don't know the Nigeria they're talking about. Our lecturers are driving Paco cars just by selling handouts alone.
Oh. Which is not fair.
I don't know any university offering free education in the world.
I'm trying to be.
You pay back.
Yeah, and I'm
trying to be realistic here. Okay. What is happening on the ground? I mean, I've not been in Nigeria educational system for a while, but I've been bringing students from Nigeria to here. So we see all these things online. We also hear what is happening at home. So first, that might not be my field. What I need to do first is to employ hands, experts that are good in this, to work with me. But one of the things I will ensure that is done is to reduce the amount students actually pay to first get admission, to first being as a tuition. It has to go low, not going high. Going high, I don't know how it's going to, just like you mentioned, when it goes high, there are people that will be deprived of going to school. So in order to get everybody, just like in Ghana, the new governments introduced free SHS. I mean, I know majority of people that had that opportunity to jump into school, just to get that education, which is very, very key. So if you lower it, more people will be interested with or without JAMB to go to school, right? But obviously JAMB is going to go. If it will remain, then it will be a system of placement of schools for students. That's for me.
Okay. I think also, let me add something to what I literally said. If I'm up for increasing the school fees, but there should be value also. Like if we are increasing the school fees, what are we giving them in return?
All right.
You cannot be increasing school fees and there's no lights. You cannot be increasing school fees.
Yeah, they are intertwined.
Yeah, exactly. So it comes hand in hand. It's not we're not just asking you to increase the school fees. Let there be something, or maybe the access to, maybe there's an internet name access there. Maybe okay, when you go to school, the faculties have this their logins and everything, or the library has this equipment, gadgets for you to use. We're not just increasing it, like he said. Let's just be honest. We cannot be paying so little and expecting so much.
But that depends on the government.
Yes. Okay, let me ask. Okay, now, so if you want them to reduce this thing, how do you want them to now do this whole infrastructures? How do you want them to?
For instance,
how many successful universities in the world rely on government?
For instance, when I arrived in this town, we were paying school fees in dollars.
Okay.
We still do.
International
students.
Yeah.
Whilst I was paying then time $1,200, Ghanaians were paying 700 cedis for the same course.
Well, several at that time is about $2,000. You were in school 2014. CDs was 3.4 to $1 as at that time. So you look at the value. You see, as a Ghanaian,
no, I just gave an instance.
Yeah, but the figure, you have to look at the economic reality.
My figure is in dollars.
I know, but
they are paying even half of my dollar.
Yeah, because you're international student. That's
how do I put it? Not the same amount. It's not.
It can never be the same. You're not Ghanaian, but the amount the Ghanaians are paying not as cheap as those Nigerians are paying in Nigeria. No Ghanaian university
is like
in 2014. I was in school that time. That was not the value at that time.
No, I'm just
looking at the reality
now.
Okay.
Oh no, you cannot use it won't be right. If you want to use 700 CDs of 2014,
a lot of things have changed.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to
700 CDs
bring it back.
Is
$10 like 7,000 now.
Because in 2014, I changed dollar for 3.3.
Yeah.
$1,000 was 3,300 at that time.
Just imagine that.
So if you put that to the value back home, you see, university education is not. It doesn't come cheap. If you want quality education, it doesn't come cheap. No university in the world, not Oxford, not Cambridge, rely on government. Yes, government has. In the UK, I had my foundation program in the UK, and I can tell you that you can have access to loan in Barclays Bank, but government does not cover your. You will pay. You will pay. Some schools. I was talking to some nursing students that I supervised in Western recently, and I was telling them that some of the Ghanaians were complaining that they don't get job in Ghana, they want to go to the UK, and I said, are you being fair to the government of Ghana? How much did you pay to get trained as a nurse? Then you go and meet a British trained University of Oxford, the same nurses, you got employed to NHS. For 10 years, she's still paying loan back. You didn't hold loan in Ghana. And you are Ghanaian, you were schooled in Ghana. You don't have any loan after graduation.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are competing with a British girl who is still paying loan 8-10 years after university in the UK. Yes, university was funded on loan from Barclays. So these are the realities we cannot run away
from.
And
do you think the African students are cheating their government?
They are not. I wouldn't call it cheating, but we all should be realistic. Yes, I remember last year, Nigerian nurses were complaining that when they said they don't want them to leave for after 5 years, blah blah. Yes, as a student leader, I align with their concerns. But when you look at the government side as well, are you being realistic? Yes. Government are complaining that we're having brain drain.
Okay.
All our nurses are going to the UK. We don't want them to leave immediately. At least you must serve like 4-5 years. Ghanaians are also complaining. Yes. But the people you are competing with over there, most of them went to university with loans given by government. I know of the Barclays program in the UK that most of their tuition were maybe £3,500 per year are covered by Barclays Bank. But it's not free. You were given those coverage after school, you pay back. Some pay loans. If you study 4-year course, 5 years course, £3,000 times 4 or £5,000 times 4, you pay back upon resumption. And they spread it over. They won't allow you to choke you. So they can spread it over 8 years, 7 years, 5 years after university. But you finish school here, you are not paying loans back. You understand? And then you are competing with these same people in HHS in England. Are we being fair in this regard? So these are two sides of the coins that we sometimes have to analyze before we take decisions about some of these things. To me, I will say, our problems are interwoven. As we're dealing with the issue of management structures of universities, we look at the system generally. Okay, we talk about university teachers' welfare. I have friends who are lecturers, who are management lecturer staffers and the public schools here in Ghana. They live well. I've visited several. During my MBA program, one of my classmates was a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. We used to host us for for group discussions, and I see the kind of life he lives. I have a lot of lecturers in Nigeria. They don't live half of that life. So you don't expect those ones to give their best to students like these ones in Legon, because they have good welfare package. So when we say that you should increase the minimum wage, increase the welfare of the university staffers as well. That is the only way you can. 4 years can be 4 years. There will not be strike. How will you see strikes like that in Ghana to shut down the whole system? Even when they are not strike, before the government will sit them down and they will reach a compromise. So these are the issues we're talking about. So it's not only a one-off solution. The solutions are all-inclusive. As we're dealing with access to university, you have to deal with the welfare package of the university staffers. You have to deal with the subventions of universities as well to see that roads, even access roads to universities are okay. How many universities, if you look at the public schools in Ghana, how many of them have bad roads networks? Go to UI. I went to a wedding recently. The road access to Agbowo Ibadan, terrible. So these are some of the issues.
And Legon is not like that.
Never. Look at the roads, the access roads. Never. I should also shock you. Some of the roads in the University of Ghana were constructed by the University of Ghana themselves. That was why they tore the gates. The only entrance road in the University of Ghana that is for public is one at Okomblo.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the only free entrance. All the other road network connecting to Gimpa, connecting to Acho, where University of Ghana funds the money they made from their ventures. That is one of the ways I said universities in Nigeria should be weighing off the government, roster. That's one of the ways they can run effectively. Once they are responsible for their own funding, they will be responsible for making the money. And in that way, even if they want to give this kind of, scholarships, the government can run their own scholarship. They will release the money on behalf of the student. Ghana also have the Student Loan Fund Trust, SLTF, working perfectly. And they release the money, they pay the tuition of those students to the universities themselves. So all these things are interwoven. It's not a one-off solution, JAMB, or all of them has to be touched.
And now, will you agree with me if I say that the Ghana education system or the process of getting to the university in Ghana is better than Nigeria?
Yes, as a Nigerian, and I've been on both systems, I would say yes, it's better. Because when you even look at the performance of the university on the international level, they perform better. As I said, I'm an alumni of University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast is ahead of every Nigerian university put together. They are not relying on government like that of Nigeria. They have ventures. Even in research, how many Nigerian universities get research grants from abroad? Even the corruption is another baggage on Nigerian universities. Some of the people in Nigeria, they will even get the research grant and spend it on buying cars and living luxurious lifestyles. That's why Ghanaian schools get more research grants from a lot of European development partners. So about €1 million was won by University of Cape Coast just recently on a research grant from some Scandinavian countries. How many of them get to Nigeria? So these are some of the things we're going, and the only way to deal with it is for the university to be responsible for themselves. The corruption will be endemic if the government continue to subvert their fund, their budgets. That's because they will block the budget and they will not execute them. But if you make the money yourself internally, you see the roads. Have you driven past Legon side?
Yeah.
You can't see potholes.
No potholes.
And some is getting within 24 hours they can block the road and get it done because it's their own fault.
They are not waiting for the government. They are not waiting for subsidy.
Yes, but in Nigeria, you and I will submit their budget. If the roads are bad, they will tell you, okay, we are waiting. Government has not released the fund.
The minister
when
is.
Government will release the fund, they will release 100%. They will give you 40% of your budget and say that they have no money. Now, there will not be execution. If you go to hostels in Nigeria, one picture was sent from the East recently, just last week, from one of the federal Uzuka. Even animals should not live there. The kind of structures, and they are now making a plea to alumni network
to come out and do the structure.
Go to Ibadan, it's the same thing. Go to maybe Unilag is a bit ahead. Because they have the Lagos State government is doing their own.
But that's just 1 out of 100.
That's just 1 out of 100. Go to Yola, go to everywhere. The one in my state, Akongba, I can't even live in that hostel. I visited my cousin there. I can't sleep there and said I want to study here. No. Studying nowadays, you need an enabling environment.
Yeah, and I really want to take this thing back to the street, to be honest with you guys. And I want to throw the question to you.
Okay.
And I want to ask you, do you think university education is compulsory for everybody?
Well, yeah.
Why? Because you spoke about skills. Yeah.
Oh, I think having a skill is like very important. It's very, very, very important.
Okay.
But then we cannot substitute skill for education.
Why?
Like
Taylor is also an educated person. Farmer is also an educated person. Driver is also an educated person. Why?
No, I don't get that. You said the driver is an educated person.
Yes, he's educated in driving. Yeah, he's educated in sewing clothes. He's educated in fixing phone. So it's like university education compulsory for everybody.
Well,
but if you can't do it, it's fine.
What do you think? What do you guys think?
It's not compulsory.
If you want to, it's fine.
University
is not compulsory.
Education is just a section of educational structure system. Now we have polytechnics. Polytechnics education is different from university education. Polytechnic education is technical based in its name. Polytechnic. Now it's an advanced technical institution. We should lay emphasis on expertise of individuals that have been trained there in certain fields. Unfortunately, even in Nigeria, we have missed the road. People are not studying microbiology in a polytechnic. People are studying business administration in polytechnic. No, it shouldn't be. Polytechnic should be engineering driven. That's why I love what they did in Ghana. They converted polytechnics in Ghana to technical universities. I was at Takwa. I was impressed. Created a campus in Takoradi, a village around Takoradi, where the railway headquarters is. So outside the railway building, there is a university, a faculty. So which means that in the next few years, we have a graduate of UMass, Takoradi campus, working at railway stations in Ghana. They don't need those Chinese anymore. Nigeria brought in Chinese from China to run our railway for us.
You're right.
Why can't we convert some polytechnics in Nigeria to technical university for railway development? That's what Ghana is doing. And I believe in the next 4 or 5 years, they will have graduates from Takoradi, and those Chinese will have to go back to China. While the Ghana Railway Corporation can be run by Ghanaian technicians. They don't. So they are educated, but technical one. So university education, to me, is not compulsory, but is a necessity. However, it's not a really compulsory thing. We can develop every areas of our society by having people trained in technical education. People who even go to, I think Ghanaians are ahead of us in terms of technical education. There's a school in Kokomlemle here. It's like a tertiary institution. We have tailors, fashion designers. In fact, there's a private university now, Joyce Ababio, here in Ghana. Is strictly for technical arts, designs, and artworks. You can graduate as a tailor. You're a graduate. If you meet some tailors in Nigeria, they didn't go to university.
Right.
But
they learn it on the
designers.
street.
Yes. However, Ghana has gone ahead. That you can study fashion design.
Interesting.
You can do artworks, photography. Have you studied? And when you graduate, so you have the certificate, as we have it, but you also have the skills. So the way through which you get a certification is different from those who went to the classroom to do the theory. Some can even graduate in theory from university, and then you have those who went to the technical schools, and they are better than them in terms of delivery of the quality work that they come to do with. So to me, to answer your question theoretically, yes, university education is not compulsory for everybody.
So guys, I think that will bring us to the end of this podcast. And the question that I want to throw at you is: university education compulsory for everybody? Put your comment below. And please subscribe to Africa Point of View.